The Tempest, Act 1, Scene 2, lines 351 to 412. In the last class, we heard the heated conversation between Prospero and Caliban. In this class, after the conversation with Caliban, we see Ferdinand come into the scene. First, listen to the audio of the lines taken. Please follow the lines in your textbooks.
Abhorred slave, which any print of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, when thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison.
You taught me language, and my profit on't is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Hag seed, hence! Fetch us in fuel, and be quick, thou art best, to answer other business. Shruggest thou, malice? If thou neglectest or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar, that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
Oh, pray thee!
Aside.
I must obey. His heart is of such power it will control my damn's god Setebos and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence!
Exit Caliban. Re-enter Ariel, invisible, playing and singing. Ferdinand following. Ariel's song.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves whist. Footed featly here and there, and sweet sprites the burthen bear. Hark, hark! Bow wow, the watchdogs bark. Bow wow! Hark, hark! I hear the strain of strutting Chanticleer cry cock-a-diddle-dow.
Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more. And sure it waits upon some god of the island. Sitting on a bank, weeping again the king my father's wreck, this music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather. But 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Ariel sings.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell, ding dong. Hark! Now I hear them, ding dong bell.
The ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The fringed curtains of thine eye advance, and say what thou seest yond.
What is't? A spirit? Lord, how it looks about! Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form. But 'tis a spirit.
The text in detail. Abhorred slave, which any print of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill, I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other. You repulsive slave, you who are completely resistant to good and are instead capable of every evil thing, I pitied you. I made the effort to teach you to speak, and taught you something or other every hour. When thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish, I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known. Brutish, violent, endowed, furnished, gabble is babble, talk incessantly, savage is wild, crude. What's the translation? When you, savage, didn't know how didn't know the meaning of the words you were speaking, I would babble like some beast. I gave you words that would let you make your desires understood. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. It says, but even though you learnt, your evil nature made it so that people who were good could not stand to be with you. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison. And so, just as you deserved, you were sent to live in this cave, which is more suitable than a prison could be. You taught me language, and my profit on it is, I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language. It says, you taught me how to speak, and the only thing I have gained from it is how to curse. May you die with the plague for teaching me your language. Prospero is angry. Hagseed, hence, fetch us in fuel, and be quick. Thou art best to answer other business. Shruggest thou malice? You son of a hag, get going, bring us firewood, and you'd better be quick, because I have other work for you. Are you shrugging as if refusing my orders, you evil thing? If thou neglectest or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old crams, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy din. So he says, if you refuse to follow my order, or if you show some hesitation to follow my order, I will rack you, I will torture you with old crams and make your bones ache, so that even the beasts of the wild will tremble at your cry, uproar. Caliban gets frightened and he says, no, pray thee, no, I beg you. And aside, going to himself, he says, I must obey. His art is of such power, it would control my dam's god Setubas and make a vassal of him. So he says, I better obey. His magic is so powerful, it would even control my mother's own god Setubos and make him a servant. Prospero says, so slave, hence, he says, get going. And Caliban quietly exits the scene. As soon as he goes off, Ariel re-enters the scene. Of course, he's not visible to anybody else except for Prospero. And he's playing and singing, and he's being followed by Ferdinand. This is the entry of another character. And he's singing the song while Ferdinand is listening. Of course, Ferdinand cannot see Ariel. He just hears a song that is being sung. So what's the song? The whole slide here is the first part of the song, and the second part will be played in another slide. Come onto these yellow sands and then take hands, curtsied when you have and kissed, and wild waves whist. Foot it featly here and there, and sweet sprites and burthen here, hark, hark. It says, come onto these yellow sands, and then take my hands, when you've curtsied and kissed the wild waves with quietness. Step lightly here and there, and sweet sprites carry the burden. Listen, listen. Here burden is a refrain or chorus. Dispersedly he can hear hark, hark, and also he can hear the watchdogs bark, bow, wow. Again, burden is chorus or refrain. Hark, 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 I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer. Cry, cockle-diddle-dow. He says, listen, listen. This is said by Ariel, of course. Listen, listen, I hear the song of the strutting rooster who cries cock-a-doodle-doo. Ferdinand. Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island. He says, where is this music coming from? From the air or from the ground? It's no longer playing. Probably it plays for some god of the island. It is so beautiful. Sitting on the bank, weeping again, the king my father's wreck, this music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. So he says, as I sat on the sandbank on the beach crying again about my father's shipwreck, I heard the music over the roaring of the waves, and it calmed the fury of the waters and soothed my intense sadness with its sweet sounds. Thence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather, but 'tis gone now. No, it begins again. I have followed it here, or maybe I should say it led me here. But now it's gone. No, it's started up again. And Ariel continues to sing. Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. It says, your father lies 30 feet below the sea. His bones are made of coral now, and his eyes have turned to pearls. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell. It says every part of him that is impermanent has changed completely in the sea to become something rich and strange. Sea nymphs ring his death bell hourly. And refrain, chorus, ding dong, hark! Now I hear them, ding dong bell. Ferdinand says to himself, the ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me. He says, this little song is in honor of my drowned father. This is not something done by mortals. Mortals are humans. Nor is it a sound that could come from the normal world. I hear it now coming from above me. Now from a distance, Prospero is looking at Ariel and Ferdinand approaching his hut. And he wakes up Miranda and he says, the fringed curtains of thine eye advance and say what thou seest yond. To Miranda he says, lift the tasseled curtains of thine eyelids and tell me what you see over there. And Miranda can't believe what she is seeing because she has not seen a human being other than her father for a huge number of years. And she says, what is it, a spirit? Lord, how it looks about! Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit. What is it, a spirit? Lord, it's looking all around. Believe me, sir, it is very good looking, but it must be a spirit. To summarize, some more information is revealed about Caliban. Ferdinand has been led to Prospero's hut by Ariel. Miranda is surprised to see another human being. Thank you.